8 Novel uses of aluminum foil you probably didn't know. Did you know that there are other uses of aluminum foil that you probably didn't know? Aluminum foil is a material widely used in the home, especially when it comes to conserving and storing some foods and leftovers. It comes in the form of a thin sheet that can be molded very easily, and used to cover surfaces, foods and other elements. That's what we all know about the humble aluminum foil. But beyond that, there are a ton of other interesting and surprising uses you can take advantage of foil for to help you out with all manner of household chores. Since we know that many people aren't aware of these alternative uses, we thought we'd collect 8 of the best so you can start putting them into practice right away. So get ready. Make your pots and pans shine. Aluminum foil is a great help when you're struggling to clean pots that are burned or have ingrained food stains. Just like some heavy-duty sponges, it removes the dirt that's stubbornly clinging to them and leaves them looking brighter. How to use. Take a large piece of material, form a large ball and rub over the areas of the pot you want to shine. Degrease your oven. Although there are wire sponges and similar materials available at the store that help remove leftover grease from ovens, a simple ball of foil can be a simpler and much more accessible solution. How to use. Sprinkle the greasy surface with a paste made of baking soda and lemon juice and allow it to dry for 5 minutes. Then, rub the area with foil. Clean silver objects. Using this common household item on your silver objects can help improve their appearance, since they tend to look more and more dull over time due to an accumulation of dirt and dust. How to use. Fill a large container, big enough to hold the items you want to clean, with hot water, and add strips of aluminum foil along with a couple of tablespoons of salt. Then, simply put the items you want to clean in the container to soak. Leave them for 20 minutes to get the best results. Clean your iron. A sheet of aluminum foil and a spoonful of salt, used together, is one of the best methods out there for cleaning your iron. These elements work together to remove the black layer that forms on the surface of your iron, making sure it won't leave nasty stains on your nice, clean laundry. How to use. Place a sheet of aluminum foil on the ironing board. Sprinkle a spoonful of salt over the surface and simply pass the hot iron over it, as if you were ironing clothes normally. Allow to cool a little, and then remove any excess salt with a clean cloth. Sharpening scissors. If you notice that your scissors aren't cutting as well as they used to and have lost their edge, don't despair, just head to your cupboard, pick up the foil and get sharpening. How to use. Cut off a large sheet of foil and fold it several times until it's nice and thick. Then, cut the folded foil repeatedly to give the blades of your scissors a good sharpening. Cleaning your grill. To eliminate the traces of grease and food that end up stuck to kitchen grills, you can use the magical combination of aluminum foil and a bit of baking soda. How to use. Moisten a small amount of baking soda with water, and sprinkle it on top of the grill. Leave to act for 10 minutes, and then rub vigorously with a large piece of aluminum foil. Rejuvenate your batteries. Toys and battery-operated electrical household items very often stop working because their batteries have become loose, and lose contact with the active parts of the item. When this problem arises, don't head to the store, just arm yourself with a piece of aluminum foil and solve the problem. How to use. Take a piece of aluminum foil and fold it until it's at the necessary thickness. Then, place it in between the battery and the contact inside the battery compartment of the item. Make sure it's nice and tight, and turn the device on again to check that it's back in working order. Magic. Get rid of rust from steel sponges. The steel sponges that are such a great help in the kitchen tend to get oxidized easily due to the moisture they retain with each use. This wouldn't be such a problem if it weren't for the fact that the rust that builds up very often gets detached and ends up on the surfaces we're trying to clean, leaving them even dirtier, and sometimes even with stains that are difficult to get rid of. To avoid this as well as the buildup of nasty odors, there's one thing that can help. You guessed it. Our trusty friend aluminum foil. How to use. Cut a rectangle of the aluminum foil and place it under the sponge, as if making a new base. Make sure you replace the foil regularly to avoid the buildup of moisture. Did you know these novel uses of aluminum foil before? We're sure most of you are still limiting its use to food storage, which is actually just the beginning. Now that you know how to use it in a variety of other situations, make sure you have it on hand whenever you're tackling those tricky household chores.